So today's question type that we'll go over is true and false. Go up to Create, top right corner, click on Formative. We'll name our formative Unit 6. We'll add question or content, and we're going to look for true and false has the T/F on the right side. So let's say your question is, Don Quixote destroyed windmills in a field. And then you're going to choose whether it is true or false. Personally, whenever I do true or false, I like to do a follow-up question that allows students to use evidence to prove that they are correct. That's not just a random guess. This is up to you. This is what I choose to do whenever I do true and false. So I go down to settings and I make sure that it's required. And then I do a follow-up question. My follow-up question can be anything I want, multiple choice, drop-down menu. I'll pick multiple choice. So in order to do a follow-up question, you need to pay attention to which question was your true and false. So true and false was number 1. So you could say, the evidence that supports my answer to question 1 is found on page blank in the text. And then obviously you have to do the work ahead of time. You have to know exactly where to find the answer and what page it's on or what paragraph it's in or however you're going to word it. So let's say I've gone through and looked at pages 25, 41, 23, and 30, and the answer is on page 30. Word to the wise, always make sure all of your other answer choices have no opportunity to be correct. Always make the evidence that supports your answer is the only correct answer. And then of course I would make it required. It should have already toggled it on. Oftentimes with multiple choice I will randomize the order to discourage cheating. So technically you don't need a follow-up question for true and false. You just do the simple question, that's it, move on. I often find it's better to have them prove their answer somehow. I choose for this one, it would be finding what page in the text supports their choice. Another way to show evidence that they are correct, we could do a true and false math question. So I'll go down here, add another true and false on the right side. Let's say 27 is a prime number. True or false? If you want to have them prove it within the question itself, then you could go to settings, show your work. And then I would say maybe add a hint for that. And I would do this for all true and false type questions, so they don't know that, they can't tell that if you do a hint on true and false, then it means, oh, it has to be false and I have to prove it. If you want them to do evidence within that question, maybe just say use prime factorization to prove your answer. So then they could do the prime factorization of 27. Go down here to show your work. I'll show you in student view what that would look like. Preview as a student, click on the eyeball. Scroll down to that third question. 27 is a prime number, true or false? They have to show their work either way. And then the hint that they have is down here. Get a hint. And it's whatever you typed. I typed use prime factorization to prove your answer. So click on show your work. They'll write it out, pencil, paper, board marker. Like I've talked about in other videos, you go to image. They click on image, it's the square with the mountains. They choose take a photo. I can't do it here because it'll stop the recording. But they take a photo of their work. My example would be to do the prime factorization of 27 to prove that it is not a prime number. When they're done, the image will appear here. They click done. They've uploaded it. So you don't have to do any kind of follow-up to show that it is true or that it is false. But if you're wanting evidence, another way to do that is to have them show their work. When I first started using Formative, it drove me crazy. I kept wanting to find show your work in the question types, but I would look under the S's and I wouldn't find it. I'm like, where is show your work? It's not a separate question type. It's a toggle that you have in the settings of individual questions. So if you ever want them to show their work, you go to settings and toggle on show your work. And then it's contained within this question. You don't have to do an extra question like I did in this other example.